Hey everyone, welcome back to CryptoCache. Thank you so much for joining me here. I hope you're having an amazing day. We're going to take a look here at OGN, Origin Protocol, see kind of what's going on again. I got a lot of requests recently, of course, because the increased volume today. We want to kind of take a look at that and see if it's worthwhile or sticking around. And obviously, look at big picture, best practice, all the normal stuff I like to acknowledge. And if you're new to the channel, not a financial advisor, just love teaching people how to trade, I really hope you can learn something here today. My goal and my passion is to help you become a better trader, simply put. I've been trading for over 16 years, so I hope you can learn something. CryptoCache.tech is the website, link in the description below if you want to become a better trader. I have a Signal group, trading academy, and community as well, where I basically just teach you how to become a better trader, simply put. It's more in depth than, of course, the things I can share with you here. That being said, let's go ahead and take a look at OGN and kind of understand a couple of key indicators here. One thing that's kind of, I wouldn't say it's screaming to me, but it's something I want to acknowledge is that 50 on the RSI typically works as a resistance level. This could be the reason why the price is not willing to pass that point, because once again, RSI relative strength kind of just telling you the overall sentiment, and that in itself is getting rejected at 50. Okay, so it pretty much just kind of implies that we can get a close above that here today. It'd be very, very good. If we can't, we might consider the price going sideways or back down again, getting rejected by this, this descending type of pattern. Okay, now that being said, not in terrible shape, don't get wrong, but that's something we want to acknowledge and be obviously touch on. You can also see a potential shift in momentum here. This really just telling us that we're seeing less volume to the downside today, and of course, that shift in momentum could occur. Just kind of letting us know in general that the bears are potentially losing control. Potential is a key word here, because of course we don't have any definitive breakout here, so to speak. But the fact that we have much more volume today on a weekend is kind of a tried and true testament to the fact that we could be back on track. Because again, a lot of this low volume, minus this one significant push here on the 30th, has really led to more selling pressure. So in other words, nobody is really willing to buy at that point. But if you look here, of course, you see a strong support level here right around 47, 48 cents. There's been 4 days in a row the price is unwilling to go below that. That's a good sign. It's creating a nice stable foundation, kind of helping us push the price action higher. It's also concurrent in a lot of ways with the 50-day SMA, and that's important too. And what we should do here is, of course, kind of just draw out a trend line to kind of see what might happen in the near future, and if it can continue to maintain or hold that. And something to acknowledge too with trend lines too. I got this question, a trend line with only 2 points is just a line, right? And for the most part, that's true. In other words, we've only drawn it out, and it's only been tested officially one time from its original point. Yes, that's very true. I'm drawing this out for future reference just so we can kind of keep an eye on it. So if the price were to kind of go below that trend line, then we know that that wasn't truly an official trend line. But if it's tested again and the price continues to maintain, just say, for example, it does one of these, then we can confirm that this is a trend line that's working. Another thing to acknowledge too is that most trend lines run concurrent with the 50-day SMA in a nice bullish trend. So if the price can continue to progress a little bit higher, we'll see this RSI, the 50-day SMA kind of work itself up concurrent with that trend line, kind of just reiterating the fact that you're on the right side of the tracks, that things are good. In other words, it's going to be breaking that downward trend here, so to speak, with that, because you can see obviously the price is kind of progressing downwards, and this could be that breaking point where the price is unwilling to go below 47/48 cents. Okay. And coincidentally, that's pretty close to this Fibonacci retracement level as well, so just keep in mind that's holding pretty strong, whereas the resistance level here at about 55 cents could also be a real thing. And what I mean by that is that's a line previously that the price had trouble breaking below, and eventually it did. Now that we're down below, we can consider that a resistance. Most support levels become resistance levels, and the inverse as well when momentum shifts and changes, right? So that being said, we could see the price kind of continue to do one of these, and then potentially break to the upside. More likely to break up than down at this point, but once again, too early to tell as well. Okay. Continued volume, we have maintained volume like we're seeing here so far today, then yes, we will see much more increase in price from OGN. I think that's very much realistic. Taking a look at the 4 hour, we can see a significant push in volume here only in that one small time frame. So that is slightly concerning, because anytime you've seen this here previously, we had a similar volume spike as well that pushed up and just came right back down afterwards. So we want to pay attention to see how the price responds. If we can continue to maintain this trend line, I think we'll be in good shape. But increased volume in one 4 hour time frame is not ideal. We want it to be spread out more. Okay, so that's not healthy. I don't like to see that. That just kind of leads me to believe that we could just see the price continue to go sideways or down from here based on that sentiment alone. That being said, the price is kind of wedging itself into the 200 and the 50, and notoriously the price usually comes down with the 50-day SMA. So if we can break above and stay above the 50 here, we'll be in pretty good shape as well. I mean, honestly, a one-day candlestick close above 56 cents today would be phenomenal. That would be the ultimate thing that we need to see and have happen. But this, I mean, yes, this candlestick just barely opened, but there's not a lot of volume in this most recent time frame here, and that is once again a bit of a concern. Because I like to pay attention to volume. I think volume kind of speaks very loud. One good thing is we're up over 50 on the RSI here, so that could potentially work as a support, kind of breaking this most recent high that it couldn't get past, and potentially working as a support level there. This is kind of a stretch though, honestly. Everything else is kind of looking more so like it wants to digress. Once again, if we don't have any continuation of volume, then we're going to see this price work its way down. So I'd be cautious and careful and take your profits while you still can, for lack of better terms, but also leave some skin in the game too in case the price were to increase. So looking at the 1 hour, let's just quickly acknowledge here we're well above the cloud. Obviously, that is kind of a normal thing when you have a sharp increase like this in only 1 hour. And just to put perspective on it, that was a 16% pump in under 1 hour. So that is something to kind of recognize in the fact that may not sustain very long. The price is continuing down. We're still above the cloud, but we're going to really need to find out here in the next trading day or so what happens with the price. If we break below the cloud, different story, but this is a very thin cloud, not really the most ideal, and all in all, not really telling us all that much. Only thing else we can acknowledge here is that we did push up all the way to a 9, and now we're getting that reset, so we do have potential of 8 more hours of continuation on the downside. Okay, so again, with diminished volume, is going to give us diminished returns. Let's pay attention to this trend line, see if the trend line will hold. I'm speculating that OGN will probably channel sideways between 48 and 56 cents. I think it's going to have some trouble breaking that resistance at 56. You can see that it had that trouble already, and that it's going to need to test it a few more times to get there. We could even see a potential, and this is just a stretch of course, but we could see a potential cup and handle pattern form. We want to pay attention to that as well. That could happen. But for right now, all signs are pointing down, and I think that we're more likely to see this continuation on the downside unless we can get some buying pressure and some more volume. All right. So again, maybe not the best result here so far, but it is trying. If we can just continue to maintain volume, I'd say that it's going to be much healthier. But if you look at the big picture, OGN has tremendous potential. It's still, I wouldn't say in its infancy, but it's still low compared to where it definitely could be. Now, are we going to see prices around $3 anytime soon? Probably not. If it were to pump and increase, we got to break that resistance right around 90 cents. I would say best case scenario would be $1 to $1.50 this year. But once again, I think that's still very realistic with increased volume. So that's kind of where we're at there. I hope you found benefit, of course. Let's see if this trend line continues to hold, and we'll take another look here soon. And I hope you have a good rest of your day. CryptoCache.tech is the site if you want to become a better trader. I look forward to working with you. Have a great rest of your day.